Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever just stared at your to-do list and felt that wave of panic start to rise? You know, that feeling that you have a million things to worry about all at once? Well, today we're going to slice right through that chaos with a surprisingly simple tool. And we'll do it all through the world of one of my absolute favorite anime. Right? It's that feeling of pure, unfiltered chaos. You've got deadlines, potential problems, and about 100 what-ifs, all just screaming for your attention. It's totally overwhelming, and it feels impossible to figure out what actually deserves your time and energy. But what if I told you there's a way to cut through all that noise? A simple, really powerful framework that brings order to the madness and tells you exactly where you should focus. Let's meet our secret weapon. And here it is, our hero for today, the probability and impact matrix. I know, it sounds super formal, but trust me, this thing is a legendary weapon for managing projects or, honestly, even just managing your life. And it all boils down to two really simple questions. So first up is probability. This is just asking, how likely is this thing to actually happen? Is it pretty much a sure thing, or is it more of a 1 in a million shot? Super straightforward, right? And the second piece of this puzzle is impact. This one asks, okay, let's say this thing does happen. How bad is it going to be? Is it just a tiny inconvenience, or are we talking about a full-on catastrophe? Let's just forget the fancy business speak for a second. This is what it's really asking. How likely is this chaos, and how badly will it ruin your life? Yeah, when you put it that way, it's a lot less intimidating, isn't it? So when you combine those two questions, you get this beautiful little 2x2 grid. It sorts all your worries into 4 clear boxes, and each one tells you exactly how to react, from just keep an eye on it, to all hands on deck, this is a code red. Now let's bring this whole thing to life with some scenes from Horimiya. We're going to start in the bottom left corner, the absolute chillest quadrant of them all. This is for the stuff that's pretty unlikely to happen, and, well, even if it does, it's not going to cause much of a stir. That's the perfect way to describe it, isn't it? 0 damage, just vibes. This is the stuff you really don't need to be losing any sleep over. Think about that moment when Hori's little brother, Sada, starts calling Miyamura big brother. Is it likely to cause a problem? Nah. If it somehow does, is the impact big? Absolutely not. It's just a sweet, heartwarming moment with no negative consequence. In project terms, this is a risk you can totally ignore, or just casually keep an eye on. Okay, let's move over to a much spicier quadrant. This is where things get a little dangerous. We're talking about risks that probably won't happen, but if they do, oh boy. Exactly. The chance is low, but the stakes are incredibly high. This is the be careful zone where you really need to have a backup plan just in case the unlikely decides to happen. The perfect example here is Miyamura's whole secret identity. The chance of someone at school just randomly discovering his tattoos and piercings is pretty low, right? But if they did, especially early on in the story, the impact on his carefully crafted quiet loner persona would be massive. It would cause a huge social earthquake. This is why you have to be so careful with these kinds of risks. You need to plan for the what if. All right, on to our third quadrant, the daily grind. This is for the stuff that happens all the time, but doesn't really break anything. You know, the predictable, manageable chaos of everyday life. I think we can all relate to this one. These are those frequent little annoyances that you just kind of learn to deal with. They become part of the routine. Just think about how often Hori playfully teases Miyamura. The probability is super high. It happens constantly. But what's the impact? Pretty much 0. It's just their dynamic. It doesn't derail their relationship or the story. In a project, these are the little hiccups you manage lightly, without throwing a ton of resources at them. And finally, we arrive at the top right, the big one, the red alert zone. This is where the most likely and the most damaging risks all live. That's right. This isn't just some problem. This is a potential story ender. These are the risks that demand your immediate, undivided attention. There is no ignoring this quadrant. The ultimate risk in Horimiya is both Hori and Miyamura having their true selves. You know, the home mode Hori and the out-of-school Miyamura, exposed to everyone. The probability is high because they're constantly interacting with so many people. And the impact? It would change absolutely everything about their school lives and their relationships. This is the kind of risk you have to handle immediately. So we've had some fun with anime, but how does this matrix actually help you in the real world with your own projects or your own goals? Well, it's incredibly practical. First, it gives you focus. You know immediately where the real danger is. Second, it helps you plan your responses so you're not caught off guard. And maybe most importantly, it helps you avoid waste by giving you permission to stop stressing about all those low priority risks. And that's really the core lesson here. When you sort your worries like this, you can finally see what's just background noise versus what could actually sink the whole ship. It tells you exactly where to put your energy. And this is the perfect summary of everything we've talked about. Some problems are just annoying little side quests. Others, others are main character season finale level disasters. This matrix helps you know the difference. And trust me, that is everything. And that's it for this explainer. If you enjoyed breaking down a complex topic with a little help from anime, do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe for more. And I really want to know, what anime should we use to break something down next? Drop your favorite in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.